everyone, and welcome to the Alara Canfield show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm so excited to be doing this live call today. I'm at the point now in my holidays where the holidays are over, all the stuff that I planned to do, had to do, is done, so now I can relax for a few days. But I'm kind of recuperating. Yesterday was my son's graduation, and I have to just say how so happy and proud I am that he's graduated. He also got a really good job yesterday as well. He got the, call that he got it. So it's like, oh, thank God. And then we had a beautiful dinner with everybody last night. So that was really nice to celebrate. And that's, one thing that I just want to say really quickly is that is something I don't do. I don't celebrate the little things or the big things, and I think that's something that is really important for all of us to celebrate stuff in our lives, whether it's big or small, just celebrate little things. So I always say I'm going to make a point of celebrating more, and I just never do. I'm always like, I finish something and then I'm on to the next thing, but I don't take the time to really celebrate me. And yesterday, seeing my son and how happy he was and relaxed and easygoing, and we were all celebrating him, but we were also celebrating me and my ex-husband and my family who was supporting my son, in the past couple of years for university and so on. So we were celebrating all of us, right? So how often do you do that? How often do you celebrate you and your family and friends just for being you and everything that we accomplished? So just putting that out there for everyone that, yes, celebrate you. And I'm so relieved and happy, and oh my goodness, I'm just, relieved. Can I say relieved so many more times? My pocketbook is really happy. You know how kids are, right? So it's all good. Perfect. So now today, like I said, we have on the show with us Aurora, Juliana, Ariel. She's been with us before, and a wonderful speaker, eloquent speaker, really gifted and talented. And she's going to be talking to us today and sharing about the abundance code. And specifically, Aurora is going to talk to us about the timely divine assistance that humanity, all of us, are receiving at this time, and how divine codes are helping accelerate the ascension and alter the future into ever more benevolent potentials. Doesn't that just sound so exciting and so uplifting and so empowering? It's like, yes, it's like open doors, right? And she's going to give us an update on Earth 2012 to 33, the abundant future that is within our reach. We're getting closer and closer to it. She's going to be sharing with us about visits and timely information and assistance from the future 2023 and her journey into the future and the unexpected changes that await us. We'll also be talking about sacred alchemy, how to transform your life, actualize your greater potential, and fulfill your highest destiny. And Aurora has also prepared exciting soul-accelerating packages at unbelievable prices for all of you. So we're going to talk about all of that and more. There's more, because we were just talking about something at the very end that I'm really excited about. So I'll let Aurora talk about that in just a few moments, or later in the show. And so for those of you who don't know Aurora, I'll just tell you a little bit about her. You can read up on Aurora at awakentohappinessnow.com/live. And most of you probably already read her bio in the email. But she is a pioneer in her work. And she heads her global healing ministry, which is bringing out landmark discoveries in global conferences. She writes books. She facilitates healings. She leads trainings and expressing her musical talents. Aurora possesses the proverbial Midas touch. So everything she touches turns to gold. And what that means is that when it turns to gold, or she has the Midas touch, it means that whatever she is doing, she's so connected to Source and within herself that it is for the highest good of all. Okay, and so her brand of alchemy is the sacred sort, yielding a gold one can only discover within. So a pioneering doctor and scientist, author, musician, entrepreneur and producer, mystic and healer, Aurora is a Renaissance woman for the new millennium. So you can read more about Aurora on the live page, but I'm so excited that Aurora is here with us to share with us the abundance code. So I invite you to open up your hearts, open up your energy fields, open up your minds to the wisdom and the energies that are flowing into the call for all of you listening now and listening later. and everything else that we're going to be receiving from Aurora and her team. So Aurora, welcome.
Thank you so much, Alara. I'm so excited to be back on your show and to share the good news. I know everyone's in the throes of the big changes, and a lot of it is daunting, but there's very good news. So we're going to be unveiling that today in my interview.
Oh, wonderful. And, and that's it. We are 2016 was a really a year of change and transition, but I find, 2017, although it's a year of new beginnings, and I'm finding that really strongly in my life and endings, there's still so much transition happening. It's as if we're going faster and faster. We're evolving faster and faster. So many things are coming up for us that, are now releasing or clearing that we're more at peace with. I know for myself, I came back to Canada after 10 months, and I've been here 5 weeks, and all of my family dynamics have changed for the better, for the better. I was like, I'm so happy. It's like it's a new lease on life practically with my family and friends. So there's been a lot of healing. I think people are doing a lot of healing and growing. But what is, I was, it's like the question is, okay, when do I get a break? When is that break coming for me? When can I just take a breather? I feel like everything is going so fast.
Definitely. Well, I love what you were saying about celebrating the victories and the moments. And I think for all of us in this acceleration of the ascension right now, we've got to map out time for ourselves, really create the boundaries in our lives so that we're not only in service and we're not only transforming ourselves and then tending lovingly with our families, mates, friends, we've got to have that downtime. We have to have that rejuvenation time and to give ourselves wonderful experiences like spa treatments and little journeys and sacred time. So it's all important in the mix.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and that's what I keep telling my community, is that it's not all about doing the work and doing the healing. Are you taking time to enjoy yourself? Are you doing things that are expansive for you and joyful for you? Because it's about being present in the moment and experiencing all of what's available. And part of that, what's available, is the joy and the fun and the lightness as well.
Yes, and there's such a power to it, because when you think about it, when you rest the doer self and you come back into your authentic self and you're enjoying and you're relaxing and you're loving and you're delighting in the beauty, the magic, what happens? It's like it's an alchemical formula that then allows our spirit to rise up with its new creative ideas or timely information or guidance or, insights about a puzzle, a life puzzle we're dealing with. And so we need those down times, not just sleeping, but when our minds can be at rest and peace, that's when this other part of us can be activated. And one of the examples of this is when you see a scientist in his laboratory working day and night trying to crack the code, and finally he's exhausted and falls asleep in his chair, only to have a dream that gives him, that missing piece of the formula. So it's that other part of us that is a creative, active aspect of self, our inner creative self, that needs to have time and room in our reality. And if we don't give it to them, and we're working night and day and busy, we're not making room, and we're not listening, and many times we're allowing the human momentums and what the human side thinks it should do or has to get done run and rule our lives, when if we come from that still, calm center within, allowing our inner selves to guide, life just happens, I find, much more miraculously. It's way easier, and things all still get done.
Absolutely. Things all still get done, and we sometimes focus on the things that are not as vital, and what is vital is that connection within, is that connection to ourselves, is taking time and listening to what it is that spirit is bringing forth. So so one of the things we're going to talk about today is about timely divine assistance that humanity is receiving. So do you mean the assistance from our support team, our higher self, guides, and angels, or are you talking about something else?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, we have the indwelling spirit, our eternal immortal selves is an active divine principle in us that needs us to clear the way from the human programs, and this inner process I call sacred alchemy, to heal and transform the programs, beliefs, upsets, and all those shadow aspects into the gold of our true nature. Because if we do that as a life mastery path, then we're constantly clearing the shadow and empowering our authentic self to lead the way and to create and manifest its glorious vision for our lives. Then on top of that, we set up precepts in our book of life before we came to set up what was important for this soul learning module. And if we're one of the violets that I call them, the violet people who came specifically to facilitate a personal and planetary transformation and do this largely from within, like taking on an increment of the human programs and karma and transmuting it and then actualizing the full potential self and bringing out our unique gifts, or one of the violets, then we have it all set up in this embodiment just exactly what we take on, the adversities we go through, the learning, growth, and advancement, and our destiny potential that would be keyed into exactly what we're clearing and moving out of. So then we are way showers for humanity, and we are bringing tools, techniques, and all we've gathered that can give humanity that ticket out of the human condition and into the glorious divine self. And then we have our brothers and sisters that stayed behind in the realms of light, because if you're a violet, you're from a higher realm. You're not really a slowly evolving soul on this planet, even though you might be encoded with past life memories. Very rare if you're here to really turn the tide. And we have them who have been revered east and west, and many also are unknown, archangels, Elohim, great cosmic beings, divine masters, angelic hosts, and they're supporting us, and they're supporting humanity. And I've seen just tremendous increased support over these years that is quite phenomenal what's going on. And that's what I'm excited to talk about, because I know so many people are falling under the weight of the dire conditions and potentials, yet it's really important to see the light side of what's going on and to find that inner peace within it and the rightness of what we're doing and the role we're playing, so we can hold that vision of the amazing future we're moving into.
Beautiful, absolutely. And we are moving into an amazing future, right? The abundant future that is starting to show up, or is it not quite within our reach yet?
I see evidence of it because I've been receiving visions of it since I was young, in my teens. And then I went on a hypnosis journey when I was 19 and ended up right before this life, and I remembered all of us and all of us preparing, and we'd be born throughout the world, and we'd be the violet ones who are going to clean up the earth through healing the psyche, where all the patterns and beliefs are actually being mirrored outwardly as all the planetary disasters and all of the suffering that's going on Earth. And so then I've kept seeing the visions of what we're accomplishing. I kept also seeing what we are accomplishing. So I'm very, very encoded with it, and I'm excited to transfer it today so that everyone can have their eyes opened and see it. But one of the ways you can understand it is this incredible renaissance of grace that's taking place today, where souls are becoming awakened and enlightened and bringing forth conscious media, beautiful healing music, art, architecture, remedies, cures, scientific advancements. So our world is being flooded with all of these offerings. And so we're in a Renaissance period, and it's global rather than just like in Rome or Europe way back when, or Greece. Now it's full-blown. And that a Renaissance period actually brings us into a golden age. And so we've seen that in Europe, in Greece, and other locations that you can access now information about, like Lemuria and early days of Atlantis and all that, China. So here we are again. Mm-hmm. And this time period really got accelerated in 2012. It amped up. Everyone took a big leap. And I was curious then to see what the world was looking like now, because there were so many dire predictions and prophecies. So that's something I really want to share about, is my journeys into the future that started in 2009, and then very significant one in 2012, where I went all the way to 33, and then recently this year getting a lot of information and assistance from 2023.
Beautiful. And that's what's so exciting, is to hear or know that you can go into the future, see what's coming up, and then do you adjust your current plans with that in mind? Do you adjust your current programs with that in mind? And how can we tap into that new future that's coming up?
Yeah, it's the way I've done it is, I've had the visions and I've seen it, yet I've wanted to journey in there. And so I worked for a couple years with Bernadette Jean-Marie. She's a very dear friend, a best friend for many, many years, and she is a hypnotherapist. So we worked together as she was developing transformational hypnotherapy, because one of the elements that I thought would be essential in the mix was not just people jumping back or jumping around in time and having a little bit more understanding of what went on and how it currently affected their life, but that there could be a healing, a really big transformation to occur. So we wove in sacred alchemy. So then I got her to take me into the future, and now we have all those different journeys people can take in our virtual healing temple that's on the Temple of Sacred Alchemy website, sacredalchemy.com. And so we have all different healing modalities, and some of my graduates in that one. And so what I found is you can go into the future and meet with your future self and really get the feeling of the world and where everything is heading. And then as you're coming back in that journey, there will be all these inner subconscious aspects, shadow aspects ready to heal, so you can align with that future. At the same time, my sacred alchemy work, which I've given to the world, is the Quest 7 Steps, and that is an inner process too, where if you work on yourself every time an issue arises, understanding that that issue is coming from a younger aspect of yourself that is wounded, that is tainted, that is limited, that has belief systems and programs running that's keeping us from living our highest destiny potential. And that understanding that these things come up at the perfect moment for our soul evolution and advancement, so that in healing each next piece, now we graduate to the next level. But not only that, it alters our future right there and then, because now those aspects that we're going to be creating more ill health, more relationship issues, financial or whatever, are now operating in our psyche and our divine self side. They're in their full potential, so the greater divine plan is going to be manifesting through them. And so that means just in one session, we'll have moved to a more beneficent future line. And this is how we're coding in a new future for all of us, is as we do the inner work, we're shifting and coming into more beneficent future potentials. And I've seen those potentials. I've seen the highest potential in 2012 and what was the strongest momentum, and so how everything would look in 2020, 2033. And I've recently been visited by 2023, my future self, and gone there in hypnosis a couple times now. And so that really helps us all key into who we're becoming, because our future selves are our more fully actualized selves. And what's being shared is pretty phenomenal. So that's an exciting piece of puzzle I'm excited to bring to all of you.
Absolutely, thank you. And that's the thing. It's like I did a process just the other day myself where we connected in with our future self and asked questions of our future self and merged with our future self to receive the energies of that time to empower us to move forward in our path now, because we know we've already done it, you know. So and so sometimes that can be the biggest catalyst. It's just knowing that you've already done whatever it is that you happen to be struggling with at this time because of fear or, you know, different blocks and that are coming up for you in resistance. But knowing that it's already happened, knowing it's already taking place, helps you to sometimes release that and move forward, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Just, and also having a roadmap where we're going, the world we're moving into, and that's its potentiality, that it's a high probability and possibility if we keep going. And there's now like 400 million of us across the earth who are undergoing this ascension transfiguration process, who are into inner work and making a difference and changing the future, and we're doing an amazing job. What was really significant this year is I felt so much light on this year as we came in. And I also saw there would be a rocky, craggy, narrow passageway we'd have to make it through to this open, wide ocean filled with light, sun-filled imaging. And so you saw early year where people coming unglued over the political scene and all kinds of fearful things of terrorists and on around the world, and yet there's just been this light, drawing us forward and compelling us to do our individual pieces so that the whole world and all humanity can shift. And when we do a session or we make a shift, we're so linked up, all of our psyches, that it's that 100-monkey effect where it's just accelerating everyone, moving everyone forward. So I was very happy to learn about 2023 when in February I unexpectedly had a visitation from my future self. And it was amazing because she was so happy and so grateful and so light-filled. And she said she was so grateful to me for all I'm doing, for all the clearing, all the healings, all, the focus on actualizing my greatest potential and my commitment to fulfilling my highest destiny potential. And she said because of that and that dedication and white fire, she's living the most amazing life in 2023. And then she expanded it out to show me how so many of us are just living in a glorious time. It's really just birthing the golden age at that point, where there's so much more evidence of the world having been transformed. And she said that a lot of inventions and cures and remedies and things agriculturally to make the food more nourishing, and a lot of people were unseated that were on the thrones of power that were working out of greed and avarice and harm. And so we have benevolent people heading things. We've got incredible teams of people implementing these most exquisite programs. There is really so much health and vitality in the people. The food is all just so nurturing and healing and revitalizing. The waters are pure, the air is pure. We've had a lot of help in cleaning up the environment. And people just became on fire as they kind of went through that level into more of their authentic self and saw what was happening in these coming years and took heart, everyone just started bringing their all to the planet. And so there was just this massive cleanup, earth restoration project going on. So by 2023, things are pretty glorious. And, of course, when I went into 2033, in 2012, I just had tears pouring from my eyes in joy of all that we had accomplished. And the future is really because we came, and we're undergoing this transfiguration. It's not a divinely bestowed future upon a world. It is truly from all of us and our commitment to come in, take on big packages of ancient human programming that kept people dictated to a fate, run by the programs rather than their authentic selves, and made the world look like it does. And because we're here, because we're doing all this, and we're getting tremendous help, of course, in our ascension and accelerating into who we truly are, the world is very, very changed in the near future.
Beautiful. And the thing is, I just realized now, it's like 2023 is only 6 years from now. That's not that far away.
Yeah, and it's really mind-blowing for me to have gone and seen it, just like I saw 2033 and 2020, to think, how can we accomplish that? Because sitting in Sedona, where it's all gorgeous, or my homeland on Maui, or, you can imagine a golden age of light, because so many people are living in that rarefied consciousness now, that higher self, and are committed to that, and a clean life and all that. Then you travel sometimes, and it's, oh my gosh, how are all these people, going to be transformed? However, I just see so often that as I heal myself and transform my patterns, my whole outer reality changes. Just like you were saying, Alara, that you came back and saw your family and everyone's kind of upgraded, up-leveled. That's what I see across the board. So I think one of the essential keys of sacred alchemy, one of the alchemical keys of the Ascension I can bring to everyone today, is that we need to be really masterful now more than ever, because things are accelerating, and we don't want to live in the programs. We don't want to be in the upsets and the frustrations and the fears and the, all of these things that humans have forever been enmeshed in. And we don't want to be angry for 7 weeks, So we have all the technology today to do inner work and move very quickly back to our authentic selves and live out of that self most often, and then support that process, that transfiguring process, with creating our own optimal health and lifestyle programs so that we have time for play and fun, time for family and friends, time for our inner work, time to bring out our gifts for humanity, time to, be on our educational path and take trainings and whatever is important, time for nature. And if we live those balanced lives within the mix, yet stay very focused and watching when the next issue comes up and tending to it in minutes rather than days, it just completely accelerates our soul evolution so phenomenally. And it's continually, in my life, it's continually spinning the molecules of my life and my students who are doing the work and getting sessions with me every week and trainings, spinning our molecules to ever new, more positive, beneficent realities, which means things are clearing up, physical ailments, patterns and mental states, self-awareness and remembrance of who we are, and our relationships, our finances. So this is one of the most powerful things I've found, is to do that inner alchemy and keep transforming and keep reaping the gold of your true nature, so that self, that which is the miracle consciousness, that self which is the only power that should be sitting on our throne in our beings and be at the command center. Seriously, we do not want our shadow selves on the command center anymore of our lives and worlds. And that part of us, that beautiful lumen part of us, will manifest an Edenic reality in our lives and a golden age on Earth.
Absolutely. And so, wow. So, Aurora, we have some questions in the Q&A, and we have some hands raised. So I was wondering, and I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, that we're going to do a process for everyone to maybe activate or bring in some abundance codes. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's so exciting is, all of my adult life since my teens, I've been working with the realms of light and divine sponsors, and now the divine sponsors of this global healing mission I'm heading. And the divine ones have been really active, like monthly in the global healing forums I've been facilitating in activating these codes. So I'm really excited to bring it to your group, Alara, so that people can experience what it's like. And from what I understand about the codes is humanity has these latent codes, but there's been so much programming and overlays and genetic stuff, alterations, that through time humans just stopped living longer lives and started living more and more out of what I call their shadow nature, the unconscious self, and out of touch with their divinity. And so it was the shadow self that was kind of running the person, the community, the country, the world. And that has caused all these problems. And so when people talk about humanity only living a small percentage of their potential, that's their divine potential that somehow got a virus in the computer system of their human self and relegated them to just a very human life devoid of that spirit infusion, connection to the higher realms, awareness and awakeness of who we are and fulfilling a higher destiny. Not only that, the aspects create all the ills of humanity, and that's what I've traced for years in my pioneering work in the psyche, that all ills, all adverse conditions in your life, all issues are coming out of the psyche. So if you want to change your life, your future, your world, start within and then take the action steps, to help empower that. So these abundance codes have been being activated in these beautiful codes. Also it's a divine technology that looks like a holographic emblem kind of field, energetic, and it's coded to help activate our codes. Now, the abundance codes are very key to us bringing in the golden age, and we have got to clean up the need to have less, to push away wealth and abundance and all these archaic belief systems that we might not believe anymore consciously, yet are embedded in our psyche from past eras. And there's been so much religious and other programming that there's so many aspects of us that have been really, burdened and living out of lack and financial constraint or burdens and cares or beliefs that they have to work hard for a living and all that. So today we're going to have the divine ones come in and work with those inner aspects, and as many as you are all ready to have transformed will be transformed, because it's all, under the direction of your divine selves and your souls, what you can receive. So, you might want to send an intention before we get to that point and open yourself up for the highest light, healing intention and claim, your right to have an abundant life. That is your divine birthright, because our divine selves are incredibly abundant. And so this activation just allows more of our true authentic selves to be in our reality here on earth and in our bodies, in this temple, our consciousness being in the world, so that they'll activate and allow us that more expansiveness. And so there'll be a great sacred alchemy healing that will go on and information from the Divine Ones. So I'll leave that to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to work with anyone and also answer questions.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because we have some people with their hands raised and we have questions. So how about we take a few questions first and then we'll go from there. What do you think?
Perfect.
Okay, so on the Q&A, I have a question from, where it is. Hold on, I just lost it for a second here. 1 second. I have a question about, from Claire. She says, I'm wondering why it is that in the financial abundance area, that keeps becoming more and more restricted rather than more abundant right now. I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. And I'm sure a lot of other people are also feeling that way. So can you talk about that a little bit, Aurora, and see what you can see for Claire and all of us?
Yes, unless you were born into a lineage of royalty that went back generations of belief that they are entitled and, that abundance of wealth is natural and their right, their birthright, you probably have taken on patterns of family lineages that were coded a different way, that believed, like let's say in the European sectors, you have to work hard for a living. You have to work hard for what you get. And then there's the religious overtone of it's better to be poor than rich, and there's something really wrong with being wealthy, and you can't be spiritual and wealthy. Now, as I said, all of us that came in as pilots, we don't believe any of that consciously. So it's really disconcerting when we deal with financial issues. It's like, what? Lack? I don't believe in lack. Like, what? How can I have lack or constraint or, hardships? It's all coming out of the psyche, and it's what you took on to clear. And why you're on this call today, because we're going to do a massive upgrade and shift here and heal as many aspects today as we all can, so that we can have those inner aspects, younger parts of us, actually working to help bring greater abundance into our lives. But every time you come across a block, a barrier, a financial issue, distress, do the inner work. Access that aspect of self that is all concerned, feeling blocked, weighted down, overwhelmed, and heal it. And that's why I gave the quest 7 steps, and that process is really fast and easy and very deep and comprehensive, will allow you to really get, the whys. So you will pick up all the threads of the whys, and you don't need to be concerned about that and wondering anymore, well, why, why me? You'll know why. So, part of the packages today that I put together, I've got that book for you guys, and it has the 7 steps, and I also have the audio. So we'll talk a little bit more about what everything's in the package to help you lead a more abundant, fulfilling life, to anchor heaven on earth in your life experience, and use these abundance code activation packages a little bit later. But that's it. That's the keys of it, and you'll understand more, when you read the book, of why we're having adverse conditions in our lives, even when we're staying spiritual and positive, or setting clear intentions, or doing affirmations. It's that strata in the psyche that it's coming out of, and we all need to be healing that to change our future and change our world.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Claire. And then I have a question from Lynn, and she says, I've been labeled as lazy and unmotivated by family and as having chronic fatigue syndrome by the medical community. All I know is I'm tired of being wary. What can this be? Is there a purpose for it? And what can I do to come out of it?
The way I always address every adverse condition, and I've had 2 incurable illnesses, one that was going to debilitate me really quickly to death, and when I was 33, is, again, the inner work. So with the quest work, you can work incrementally, like piece by piece, with the parts of you that feel worn out, the parts of you that might feel lazy, that are disenchanted with life, that have no energy. And what I would do is just take each piece and go on a healing journey with it. Dedicate yourself to moving out of this and being free of it, and being your radiant, vital, eternal, immortal self, because your authentic self, your indwelling spirit, doesn't have any afflictions. Mm-hmm. It's only the soul that has the afflictions from these programs, from the belief systems, from life's hard hits, from the accumulation of past pain, and all this stuff lodges in our psyches and then goes into real physical ailments and can come into some serious diseases. So you want to, number one, do the inner work. Number two, you want to have those clear intentions and maybe even do a vision board with, with all kinds of things of radiant health. You could have an affirmation that you say throughout the day about your vitality, your energy, your perfect radiant health, and make sure you're on an Optimum Health and Lifestyle program, that your brain chemistry is getting fed and nourished with brain balancing, because it's the brain, I'm finding, and that's why all my students, myself, some family members and friends are all on Optimum Health and Lifestyle programs with brain balancing protocols, because there's just so much stress these days, and toxins and preservatives, chemtrails, etc., that affect our brain chemistry, and our brain chemistry affects our mind. It affects our body functions, our organs, our level of vitality and energy, our youthfulness. It's very key to aging, or if you treat it well and you keep it balanced, you can reverse aging and become more alive, more energetic, more vital. So I also have that available if anyone wants to get on their own and have help, developing their own program so they can follow it. It's essential that we have balanced lives in every area of our life. So you want to be doing the inner work as issues arise, so that you're cruising in your authentic self most of the time, allowing that in your life. You want to be waking up and getting your power smoothie in. You want to do exercise and on and on. You want to make sure you're having fun and connecting with others. So it's a full-bodied program you can create for yourself, making sure every level is addressed, and having the inner work as an essential key, as well as the supplements.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Lynn. Now, one more from the Q&A, and then we're going to go to the phone lines. But Linda is asking, how do we accelerate ourselves into the future? Do we need to reach a level of vibration to do so?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We must raise our consciousness and dwell in our true, authentic selves to partake of that glorious future. So that's why I was saying this year more than ever, we all need to roll up our sleeves and really maintain ourselves in that higher conscious awareness, that loving presence of who we are, and bring that into the world. And the way I found that I can do it, and I train others in it, is by doing the sacred alchemy work, the quest, as issues and upsets arise, because those aspects of self, when you understand step 2 in the process, you'll find out how from the unconscious, below your conscious awareness all this time and activated through some kind of upset so that you can access it, has been adversely affecting you on every single area of your life. It's mind-blowing to see the matrices these aspects are holding us into, and the consciousness and the travail that they create, all the suffering and misery. So very definitely, Optimum Health Lifestyle Program to support yourself, to live your best life, all the inner work as your issues arise, so you are coming more and more into your authentic self. And when you do the quest process, you actually start awakening to who you really are, why you're here. You can get so many questions answered. It's phenomenal. It always links up, whether you're aware of it or not, with the psyches of everyone, and so there is big movement every time you do it. So you're actually helping facilitate positive change for all, and your loved ones, your family. You're cleaning your family lines, and you're stepping up to the next level of who you are. So in each session, you graduate to your next level, and you get action steps, and step 7 of, how to support yourself in the session. And so then you cruise in your authentic self till the next piece comes up. Then you do that, and now you're graduated to the next one. And as I said, every time you're doing it, you're redialing yourself to ever new futures that are more beneficent, and you're helping do that for all humanity.
Exactly. Thank you. Thanks for that question, Linda. And now we're just going to go to the phone lines for a few quick ones. We're going to go to phone number ending in 7120, 7120. Hello.
Hello?
Hi, Cheryl.
Former director told me about the FBI. Hello?
Hi, is this Cheryl?
Yeah, this is Cheryl. How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. You had a question for Aurora?
Well, yeah, the question is, on what, on one's higher purpose and finding out, is that, I've had so many people talk about whatever your passion is and different ideas on that, but with me, I've had trouble with my throat at times when speaking and speaking my truth, even finding my truth.
Right, because of all the human programs that are running in our psyche that keep us believing and living so much less than we are. So again, like everything I've accomplished, I attribute it, number one, to the white fire in my soul that's compelled me through thick and thin and against all odds to fulfill it, but also I've been doing inner work since my teens, and I find that if I just clear the way and cruise in my authentic self, it manifests our destiny, our purpose. It is our living purpose. It will bring us into everything that we need to do and bring forth, and it will help us actualize our greatest potential. So it's a little bit different format, I guess, than others have taught, but I just think trying to understand our purpose from the human self is just not as effective as being our true, eternal, immortal self more and more through each clearing, activating actually more of that, and letting it run the show of our life, it fulfill the mission it came here for, in and through us.
Yeah, I could. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. The fact is that sometimes we get in our own way because we sometimes think that what our higher self purpose is maybe a bigger perception of what it really is, and trying to just discern the two, find out what it's not put our expectations higher than what it should be, because not everybody is meant to be a speaker or a healer or or any other form of whatever their higher source is, the higher power wants them to do. But sometimes it's just to make people happy. That makes
Exactly. I think, I've had to do a lot of work on parts of me, human parts of me that are very humanitarian, that would just amp me up to do this, that, and the other. And yet, without that balance, you can see so many people heading beautiful humanitarian efforts, but being all stressed out, right, and not loving.
Correct.
So so that isn't really the highest destiny. And I do believe, like you, it's all so much more simpler than we've imagined. And I think dire situations on the planet sometimes compel us to overamp and overdo and be overtaxed. And then we've got all these programs running, especially from different nations, societal programs where, when we're doing, that's, we're really accomplishing. And when we're relaxing, we're not doing anything, and that's not effective. And so, I think it's really about finding the balance and also listening to your inner self and just learning to discern and distinguish what voice is what inside. And that's quite an art. It's an art.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It must be mastered because, some voices sound good, right? Oh, I'll go and I'll do this. It'll be great for humanity. But,
well, trying to disconcern the ego from the higher source, our higher self, our soul self.
Yeah.
And then trying to figure out, because ego can sometimes be a trickery in a way of deception because it doesn't want us to change, the status quo, so to speak.
Right. That's why pretty much my method for my life of what I do, I just prison myself, my true self, and follow that inner guidance and inclinations. And sometimes when it's like really strong, I sit back and go, okay, and I look to see what aspect of me has that driving force, and what doorways it's going to open and what my life might look like if I follow down that idea. And then if it's an inner aspect, I'll transform it and then see. And so for me, it's a matter of always tuning in and staying, super aware of what's going on in my psyche and what is operating. Like, is it coming from love? Is it coming from my higher self? Or is it some kind of human idea that I have to do this and I should do that? And, I should give my all for humanity. I should do. And so because we've been embedded with Saint Martyr patterns over the last 2,000 years, for the spiritual community, this one's really like a growing edge for us all, of coming in and honing what is really true and putting ourselves in the equation and actually putting ourselves first and giving ourselves just the most precious, beautiful, nurturing life and everything that we need so that we can cruise in our authentic selves most of the time and really just be that vessel of the divine and let ourselves be chess pieces of the divine, just helping manifest the greater plan for us all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cheryl. Great question. We're just going to go to, and just what you were saying, Aurora, part of that means being aware and being present in the moment, right? So when you're being present in the moment, connected to your authentic self, and asking questions from there, then there's a less chance of having that ego trickery or falling into the trap of the ego mind. And, sometimes it means taking time to just sit back and say, okay, you're right. Is this really what I want to do? And taking that time instead of being impulsive and running into just rushing to do it, right?
Right, absolutely, because I was the girl that rushed right in like every inspiration. I was galloping along. And now today I'm so different because I sit and think about it a little bit. So I use both sides of my brain, right, the left and the right. I intuit something that feels good, but then I use my practical side and I'm like, okay, well, what would that look like? And I think more than ever, and like many people today, I've come to realize that quality life is my highest calling. Because when I'm leading a quality, beneficent life, when I'm peaceful, when I'm loving, when I'm in my authentic self, when my life is flourishing, that in itself does a lot for the planet. it's like a vessel of light and a beacon of light and hope for humanity, and it actually inspires others. And then out of that centered place, you sometimes don't even have to think or do, like all of a sudden you're saying the right thing, or you're on this wave of inspiration and a new book is written. It's just a very awesome way to live. So anymore I'm a bit protective of ideas, especially because I'm heading a 7-year global mission, and one idea can translate as 15 more jobs for me or tax me, so I've got to be careful. But anymore, I just keep coming back to, will this enhance my quality life and as well as my beneficence and blessing to humanity? Is this my highest path? Is this my highest good? And a lot of times, we just don't know, and it's moment by moment going with that flow and allowing divine inspiration. But once again, I just find absolute in the mix is a lot of self-nurturing and self-care, because that's where we get the downtime, where we are restoring, where we can tune in, where we can feel our hearts and what's good for us, what would be meaningful, and also what areas we might want to work on or direction we might want to go in. So that's like the bottom line. We've got to all anchor heaven on earth in our life experiences now, not in 10 years after we've worn ourselves out on 10 million more projects. We really, the divine ones say over and over that actualizing our full potential and doing this inner work is more powerful, and being that illumined self is more powerful than a million projects. So we can do all these human projects and be stressed out people and not have a life, or we can anchor heaven on earth in our life experience today and every day and see what inspiration comes to bring even more blessings to our world.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's like a knocking on my door. It's like I'm getting an aha. It's like I'm hearing that message over and over again for myself. It's like time for some deep nurturing. Taking time for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really okay that we can relax, that we can take time for ourselves. The world's not going to all completely go to hell if we're take time for us. So that's the thing, when we really care and we have a heart for humanity and we came to help transform the world, this is one of the areas we have to be careful of. So we need to, I'm always pulling myself back. I'm always, and keep mapping out more time and what would be nurturing. Make sure I go get that facial or the massage and have the meditation time and have that quiet time. So that's really, really important. And we're doing a lot when we're doing that, because, that's putting a high vibration of light and love into the planet and peace. So it's a quiet action of the divine when we are in our peaceful, centered selves, taking care of ourselves. It's a raising of the vibration of the planet when we actually do that. So if you can imagine for a moment yourself all harried, stressed out, frustrated at times, trying to accomplish a million things, and what emanation is going out into the planet, what frequency you're on, and where's that holding the planet at. And then visualize yourself on that beautiful beach with your feet in the turquoise warm water, and you're sipping a wonderful power smoothie, and you just had a beautiful meditation, and you're radiant and glowing in your authentic self, and you've written your next action steps. What vibration are you at, and what is that doing for the planet? See? So it's that planetary equation that we want to be more in our authentic self, and then come to our projects from that self. And if we find ourselves moving out of peace or getting irritated, we'll go get the power smoothie, go take some, time for a walk or meditation. Let's not drive ourselves anymore, because we've been driving ourselves crazy, so let's not do that. we might accomplish great things, but we're not changing the vibration of the planet and the consciousness of the planet, which is the only way we're going to have a golden age. So we can do 10 million projects and keep the world at a lower vibration. It's just not going to be that beautiful reality we came to bring in. So we're important in the mix.
Yes, exactly. We are important as well as humanity, and then sometimes we forget ourselves, so absolutely. All right, we're going to take one more last quick question from the phone lines, and we're going to go to phone number ending in 7454. 7454. Hello? Maybe?
Hello?
Hi, who's this?
Hi, my name's Kay. Wow, that was a beautiful, just so beautiful. The last the last speaking was touching my heart. I probably answered my question.
Oh, good.
And I think you've already answered the question. When you say do the inner work, could you just give me an example? And then I have one more short question. As I'm driving, and when you do the codes, is it advised not to be driving? Just maybe a little example of when I'm having like worry or stress or fear. How do I do the inner work? Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, well, step one in the quest means you really get in touch with those feelings, okay? So you're not going to push it down or move away or spiritually bypass and go do a meditation. No, you're going to, put your hand on your solar plexus, your stomach, or your heart, and really feel into those upsets. Then very quickly in step one, you step back into like a neutral observer position to see and get a visual image of that part of you that's actually distressed. In step one is where you gain back the power immediately, where you're not being run by the aspect, but you are now in a position of control where you're the loving presence that is now going to administer to a younger self, a younger part of self, you see. Just like our future selves kind of come back to help us, we're helping through our psyche these parts of us that are kind of trapped at 3 years old or could be in a past life. The only reason that you get frustrated or upset is because your next piece for your soul advancement is come up for healing. And this is something humanity doesn't understand, right? So this is what was one of my most exciting discoveries. So then you can feel really great about doing this sacred work for yourself, your loved ones, your family, and all humanity. And then it goes on and on, steps, 1 through 7. By the time you've gone through step 7, where you're taking your aspect through the steps, there's a complete transfiguration, and you really just get high from it. You just go into this expansive, illumined, blissful self where the world feels right and everything makes sense, and you understand whatever the issue is about. Clearly, you've healed it at the causal levels, and now you have a brighter future.
Oh, thank you. Just already I'm feeling so much calmer. I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, both of you.
Well, it's great that you said that, because there's been a lot of light flowing for everybody through this whole interview, because I like to bring healing and transformation and change, and not just share insights and tools. So there's a lot of healing for everyone. You're having a lot of inner aspects transform, a lot of kind of dis-ease of body, mind, and soul dissolving in the light. And they're already, the divine ones are helping with the codes, your pineal, your brain chemistry, your DNA, and your chakras. And already a lot of you are probably feeling uplifted, and because your atom cells, electrons are being charged with light and with these codes, and the codes go in and form a whole matrix through your physical form. So raising it all to a higher vibration. And when we're at a high hertz level vibration in our bodies, and that's why all the things I've been talking about are essential to keep us healthy, vibrant, and filled with life, is keeping us at this high vibration. then disease and all these things can't set in, and we're not magnetizing so much negative stuff.
Well, I have so much gratitude. Thank you, Aurora. Thank you, Alara.
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking that question. All right, so, wow, time is just going by so fast. Okay, so I wanted to take a few moments to briefly talk about the special offer that you have for us today, Aurora, and hopefully I included everything, I'm not sure. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. Those of you who are on the phone, you can go to awakentohappinessnow.com/Aurora13. Let me just open that up for you now. Hold on 1 second. All right, so we have 2 packages from Aurora, package A and package B. So just can you just share a little bit about what these packages are and let me know if I missed anything? Don't think so.
This is really a fast formula to change your life, like a fast soul acceleration activation, and I'm really, really excited about it. And so it's a very self-actualizing program you could put yourself on by using these. Number 1, I've got these abundance code activation. There's 8 abundance and wealth activation audio albums. Some of those have more than one activation in it, okay? Those are from the realms of light. They're very powerful. There's some teachings that go with it in helping you attain true wealth, which is actually a state of consciousness and being, and claiming your divine birthright, which is the abundant life. And humanity has lived an abundant life before en masse in Lemuria and other Golden Age civilizations. But the one key to that, the one essential element, was their consciousness matched it. That's what it's going to help you with, raise in your consciousness and clear the aspects and the healings that go on in these activations. And a lot of people like to do an activation when they wake up, sometimes before they go to bed, that they're infusing themselves with one every day. So you can actually use these packages as a self-actualization program. And you can say, I'm going to do it for 7 days, or I'm going to do 33 days, or I'm going to do 99 days, or I'm going to do 1 year or 6 months. So the way you would use the package then is these activations once a day or more. The Indwelling Spirit book is actually coded as well and has divine matrices and alchemical keys and speaks a lot about sacred alchemy. It is from the inner creative self, the inner divine self. So there are letters from the inner self, and you can either just open it up and read or go page by page, in succession. Now you want to read one of those every day and give you something to meditate on and anchor with. And I've been so completely changed by that book. I mean, when I received those letters over 2 years, I was never the same. And then when I edited the first book, which is The Indwelling Spirit, this one, in the Illumined Pathway series, my best friend watched me go through a 5-month transformation. She couldn't believe it. Like, how could someone change that fast? Just from that. And now I'm editing book 2, so that's going to be hot off the press in August. Then there's healing music, an awakening world, everlasting joy. So this music is very coded. It's from my homeland in the heavens. It has healing matrices and codes in it. And everlasting joy helps us stay in that vibration of our authentic self, of the joyous wonder of our childlike nature, helping us feel grateful and happy and fulfilled and reaping the abundant life. So that has beautiful songs in it. It's a whole album, and it can be played like in the background of your work and homes. It can also be played, when you're driving and all that. Oh, and back to K, maybe stop the car while we do the activation, and then make sure you're grounded before you get going on it again. In a moment, I'll tell you what the exact activations are, but let me get through the gift here. You also will get this amazing, divinely orchestrated song. It just came straight in the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza. when I was there with my Sacred Alchemist group, and we had it all to ourselves. We had Giza all to ourselves for a couple hours that evening. And it is very simple, but it's echoing through the Great Pyramid, and it's mixing with the energies of the pyramid and the celestial energies, and it's also a beautiful, an amazing healing tool. And then I have the Sacred Song story, so you understand what this music is about. It's a very cool story. And then you have the Quest seven-step self-healing system. You've got the book, you've got the audio album. You can always get the journal, but since this is a download package, you want to have a journal to practice Quest, so you can get that or have your own. And so you have the book, and you have the 7-step CD. The abundant. And so the only difference with package A and B is in package B you get a half-hour Sacred Alchemy Soul Destiny session with me. That includes your own transmission from the divine, a clearing, and a helping you align with your highest destiny potential. And a half hour doesn't seem long, but I tell you, it's power-packed. You can get a lot done. And you can always have more time, but that's what's in this package. So you can read about the power of these divine healing activations so you understand this is an ancient art, like back in the tradition of the oracles, bringing in the divine assistance at a very significant time on Earth. So this is what they're about. You get 8 of them, which is, it's a lot, and these are hot off the press. These are all newly released. They just have come out. And there's the Divine Abundance Activations by Mother Mary and Aurora, Elohim of Love, healing activations to assist you in attaining true wealth and living an abundant life. Then you have the Earth Star Activation by Queen Fiona of the Fairy Kingdom. My life just got royally abundant and blessed after this activation, and I love listening to it. It's a divine healing transmission from her and the Fairy Kingdom that is transforming people all over the planet. So she brings you up into the fairy kingdom where you commune with elemental life and receive the bountiful blessings as your abundance is increased. And what's interesting about taking future journeys and going up to these higher realms is it helps your soul remember and acclimate to the true realms of spirit, the true life, the true vibration, the true consciousness. It's very, very powerful. And this one, it just cleared the way. I mean, I just went into infinite possibilities from this activation. Then there's the Golden Age Abundance Activation by the God and Goddess Maru. The God and Goddess of Gold, and they are amazing illumined beings. So this is an unprecedented divine healing transmission from the realms of light. And it also has transmissions from Lakshmi, as well as the God and Goddess Maru, and Alpha and Omega, the representatives of Father, Mother, God in our universe of worlds. And the God and Goddess Maru, they were known by the Incas in the Amaru-Maru doorway. They came through that doorway that's close to Bolivia by Lake Titicaca in Peru, and they brought humanity. They were called Amaru and Amara Maru, and they brought the beautiful gold disc, and that was a disc of abundance and activation. And what happened is the Incan tribes, through their little villages, they would keep it in on the altar in one of their areas, and that whole area would flourish. And that's where they went into a glorious Golden Age empire with advanced agriculture, astronomy, everything. It was phenomenal from that assistance from Lemuria and these beings, and these codes, these abundance, Golden Age abundance activation. And there's True Divine Wealth Activation by Lumina, another divine, beautiful being from the realms of light, and she comes to help empower our true divine wealth and with the archangels, Elohim, and great cosmic beings. So, again, it's power-packed. And then there's 888 Infinite Wealth Activation by the Elohim of Love, and that's helping increase our wealth and anchor the Golden Age on Earth. And then Supreme Wealth, activation by Serapis Bey, who's the hierarch of the Ascension flame over Luxor, had come from Atlantis to bring the Ascension temple at Luxor and the initiations and advancing of humanity, and it's helping us to embrace the wealth that is our true birthright. Then there's the cornucopia of wealth activation by Fiona again. So we've got two by her that I tell you, it's a quite phenomenon to experience the fairy kingdom, because they live in abundance. They are abundance. They love gems and jewels and crystals, and they're opulent, they're expansive, and they're very close to the physical plane. And the elementals can help us in our personal lives. So they're really important. And then the abundance activation by the Elohim of love, and that's really beautiful from Aurora and both Elohim. And that, again, will assist us to live in the abundant life and break through financial constraints to attaining true wealth and your true birthright. I can't begin to tell you, everyone, how excited I am to bring these to you, to have these activations available now, and then to put it together in a self-actualization package for you so you can be using all these things daily. And if you did a 33-day with it, I promise you your life won't look anything the same. You won't be the same. That's how much this infusion and acceleration can occur. And it's just very simple to read, to do the inner work when the issues arise. And you can use track 10 of the audio and let me guide you through it if you want. Read about it so you understand the technology, you understand the inner aspects and your makeup, your psychological makeup, your soul makeup. Listening to activations, the healing music, it's an easy program, or you can just have them and listen as you're inspired, whatever works best. But as we play these things and have them in our home, it activates light, and our homes become portals of light. And so many blessings come forth from the divine when we replay these activations. It's a tremendous release of light and blessing for the planet.
Beautiful, thank you. And so both of these packages are available at awakentohappinessnow.com/Aurora13. Now, Aurora, you also wanted to take a few moments to talk about your trip, your retreat, your cruise, right?
I know, and I really hope you make it, Alara. It'd be so fantastic to have you with us. A very mandala of beautiful souls have been gathering for the next leg of the world tour, the Sacred Alchemist World Tour, which the Divine Ones have initiated. I usually do one or two Sedona Sacred Alchemist adventures every year here. We just did one in May. And then usually somewhere amazing that we're called in the world. And this time it is an incredible cruise leading from Rome, going through the ancient sites and temples of Italy and Greece. It's a 12-day powerful journey that is the Oracle Sacred Destiny cruise. So it's going to be keying everybody in as we go to these ancient temples, tap into the oracles, priestesses, priests, and those that lived in the Golden Age period in that region, and actualizing their potential, having that connection to the higher realm, and fulfilling a higher destiny, as well as bringing out, like that whole renaissance of grace I told you about, of music, books, all kinds of blessings for humanity. That's the keys we're going to be picking up and tapping into and doing sacred rituals, having activations direct from the Divine Ones, clearings, healing with sacred alchemy, and globally as well. It always goes globally, and it should be very self-actualizing. What I'm finding in these mastery intensives and romps around the planet is that the Divine Ones warp time. So when you're thinking about 12 days and what you could accomplish in your soul evolution and advancement, what could be done. However, we're seeing time stretched. to where you're in a warp, and so it's like 6 months or 1 year or 3 years of soul acceleration and advancement and clearings are taking place in a short period of time. And this has been consistent since they initiated the first one in Peru in 2013. And we've had like 2 Sedona ones every year. So I actually have 2 spaces open that are timely. They're very timely because we can't hold the rooms much further here because of all together, to have all the crews, the highest, best rooms with ocean views, and it's double occupancy, or you can get your own, and it's all kind of the same area for us. So we're right on that edge because the cruise line is all the rooms are filled, and so we have some set aside, but we've got to either release them in like a few days here, or someone else jumps in. So just let me know if you feel the calling. You could look on the website, get my newsletter, read about it, and see if you're meant to be with us, because it's going to be so exciting, so glorious, and so amazing.
Beautiful. It looks like it. Yeah, it looks so amazing. There's beautiful places that you're visiting, beautiful sites. It's like, wow. So, check that out as well. That was just an aside. And I have to see when I get back home next week and see if I can do that. So we'll have to tune in and tap in. All right. Thank you, Aurora.
Yeah.
All right. So
I hope it works out, Alara. That'd be so exciting. And then we could powwow about some Austrian co-creation or adventure in next year.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you. Okay, so, wow. All right, so what else are we doing today? I just feel like we've just done so much already. I'm feeling the energy still.
The energy is amped up. We are bathing in it. I'm going to do a short divine healing transmission, and then I actually need to go because I am training one of my students in the Sacred Alchemist 1-year program in about a half hour. We're going to get to it now. So let me take everyone into a centered place really quick. All right, so let's just let the world go. Let's breathe in deeply and anchor and center ourselves deep within ourselves, going down, down, down into that sacral area where we just kind of lock in and anchor in and allow our full potential selves to be unfurled in and through us and radiating. It's like wings of light, like it's radiant presence through our auric field, charging us with light, just this brilliant white light, activating all our centers, activating our chakras, lighting up our DNA, spinning the molecules faster in a higher frequency of our atom cells, electrons in a higher vibration, and cleansing, purifying, rectifying, making right, and cleansing our auric fields and all levels of being through our chakras. And let's let that light from the crystal cord, light come down like a waterfall of light through our chakras, bathing our physical bodies, cleansing our auric fields. And so it's in this cocoon of light, anchored in our true authentic selves, that we call forth the divine hosts of light, Father, Mother, divine universal presence, our inner divine self, heavenly sponsors, and all those working lovingly on behalf of this planetary home, all blessings for all humanity and elemental life. And we ask for the greatest healing, clearing, and advancement on every level and area of our lives to free us now from all encoding matrices, programs, all mindsets and belief systems, vows, wills, intentions that are holding us back financially, keeping us from living an abundant, radiant, glorious life, keeping us limited and not fully actualizing our greater potential and in a lesser reality than what is our true divine birthright. We claim and anchor divine wealth as our state of being. We accept it fully in our lives and on behalf of all humanity, all sentient beings everywhere. We accept now the golden age in its most glorious manifestation of Eden on earth in our life experiences and on this planetary home. And we are so grateful for all your divine assistance, all your blessings, and all the abundance that is so important and essential for all of us now to fulfill everything that we've come to fulfill and help move all of humanity into the abundant life. And we are grateful, and we accept it done in accordance with divine will and the highest good of all. Now, everyone, the divine healing transmission activation is beginning, and it's very important afterwards. Make sure you're grounded, make sure you're centered, and drink water, because you're going to be at a very high vibration and you might not even realize it. So before you go and do anything, you want to make sure you're very grounded and very anchored. All right, I just want to give you all my blessing and great love, and thank you so much for tuning into the show. And please get family and friends to listen to the replay, and so that everyone can avail themselves of all this knowledge and blessings and this healing today. So now, being centered, we're going to let the divine ones come forward. Oh, blessed ones, oh, humanity, rise on the ascension waves now and claim your true, authentic self. And standing in that self, absolutely allow yourself to receive the abundance that life would bestow upon you with such great joy. Yes, even elementals dancing around you now at this great portent as you open fully, allowing yourself to receive and live a glorious, abundant life. As all aspects are transformed and all blocks and barriers dissolve, feel yourself rising into that joyous wonder that loves to partake of nature in all her glory, that loves abundance in every form, and even loves money because it is an elemental energy of exchange that is a blessed thing, as once was gold and jewels and other items that humanity used to exchange, to give each other gifts and blessings, and to purchase and receive blessings from. You see, beloved, those in the elemental kingdoms do not have any blocks or barriers to abundance. They are not fraught with human conceptions and why it's better to have lack, why it's better to live in a diseased reality that is always struggling, always stressful, and never knows the glory of what life can be like when one is financially free. All of the old matrices are dissolving. As I, Queen Fiona, come, Queen of this fairy kingdom, this elemental kingdom of great light, majesty, and grace, to bestow my blessing upon you, to help infuse you with the consciousness that is the living reality within our realms, and such fair realms as they are, where everything is beautiful, where nature is its most prolific and bountiful, where we bask in the glory of life, and we enjoy all the waterfalls of divine energies ever pouring through our beings, because our chakras are pure receptors, because our consciousness is clean and we are aligned with our divine self. And as our divine self, we are vessels of a greater divine light, and that light flows through us and manifests its glory in our physical reality, which is our plane of being, very much connected to the earth plane, yet higher vibration, a little higher vibration, a little further for you to go as you raise your vibration and the vibration of the earth. There was a time we all walked and talked together and enjoyed the abundant life, past glorious golden ages where humanity was ennobled, walking masterfully and giving their all to create wonderful projects and plans and blessings for all. We miss those times, beloved. We miss you. We miss our interactions and your ability to co-create with us. For we are here standing by to help your life flourish, not just your gardens, as many people think, but the garden of your life. Because we can help bring in the Garden of Eden, because we have elemental powers, magical powers of manifestation, just as your true authentic selves do. You have the power to manifest. You are creator beings, and so are we. Yet we are highly evolved, living in our true authentic selves. So we have creations that are beneficent. Our creations are benevolent and a blessing to all, whereas a lot of your creations are coming from the psyche and your programs that are yet to be healed. Thus, we from these higher realms have great compassion. And therefore we've come today to help instill some of the codes that we use and we are infused with, these abundant codes from the fairy realms of light. These codes are magical codes. Like an elixir, they infuse and fill and fire and activate you into the higher consciousness that is your true birthright. Of what is birthing in this time is you. You are the birth that you are ongoing, even as the earth is birthing into a more glorious, enlightened era. Your first cause, the first cause and the first element is you, the soul, birthing into that higher self-awareness and living in the divine self while walking in the earth. By that very action, you manifest the glorious life that self will bring into easy manifestation very quickly as you live in it more and more. Thus is the alchemy there for your transfiguration. Thus is all the help, and that is why I and the elementals have come to be a part of this temple of sacred alchemy, to help minister to souls across the earth who would rise into that higher vantage point and way of being and anchor the abundant life on earth. We love you, we cherish you, and we love to live in joy and fun and play. And we want you to be more playful. We want you to take time to have fun. We want you to dance and be merry and know that the authentic self is not an austere self. It's not a stern way of being. It's a joyous, fairy-like way of being, free and expansive, ennobled and secure in itself as it's anchored in the earth, clear and directed. All the way from the feminine to the masculine, its multiple of qualities are so light-filled, so beneficent, and that radiant presence then permeates this world, raising and elevating everyone around you. Now that the codes are anchored and activated, now that the great cleansing in your souls has occurred, now that the inner aspects are transformed, how are you feeling, beloved? Can you feel the impetus of joy, expectation, what life can be like if you maintain yourself at this level, if you keep listening to the activations and infusing yourself and clearing yourself with their mighty gifts as you do the inner work and become the glorious self, the truth of who you are. See what a life that can be for you, beloved. See how you can come very quickly into an interaction with our realms and the higher realms of light and dance and play and enjoy your sacred destiny on earth, just as we enjoy ministering to you, to this earth kingdom, and all the blessed beings here. We give you our blessings and our radiant love. Thank you so much for receiving us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Alara. So happy to be with you today and connect again, dear sister.
Oh, thank you, Aurora. That was so powerful. And what a wisdom-filled call, and the energies were just outstanding. I'm like, I want to take a nap now. You know, that was so deep. So thank you so much.
Yeah, everyone who can, go rest, restore, at least meditate a little while and drink it in. Though if you have to get up and go, don't worry, it's all, the alchemy has been done and the integration is taking place right now.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for all of your questions and your comments and feedback. Lynn, I got your question, and I will send it to Aurora because I know she has to go. She has another call coming up. So I will send that to Aurora. But thank you, everyone, and I'm so grateful for all of this. It was amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Until next time, much love and blessings, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you, Aurora.
You're so welcome. Aloha, everybody.